Hello and welcome back to the stream. I don't think anybody's here yet, but that's okay. That's all right. I can have no friends. That's fine. Oh, Hyperbovian's here. Hello, Supergal. Oh, Delta's here. Hello. Well, it's good to know I'm not a complete Nigel. Do people still say that if someone has no friends? Do they call them a Nigel? I don't know. Hey, Panda, how you going? I am going all right. Oh, hey, Ricochet. Yeah, I'm going all right. It's one of those nights where, you want to have a hot chocolate, but you don't have any milk in the fridge. And I'll be fucked if I'm going to go get some. So, yeah. That's how it goes. But I'll buy some milk tomorrow night. I could go to the servo and get some, but I just really don't want to. I mean, I want a hot chocolate, but not that badly. Blah, blah, blah. All right, let's get into it. Let's do the spelling bee, I guess. How was everybody's days? It's Thursday. That's good. Oh, hey, Dango. Good to see you. All right, let's do the spelling bee. You have a cold? Yeah, I've had like some iteration of the cold or flu for like the last 5 months. I don't know. I just can't shake it, but I guess because I take medication that turns my immune system off, so that's probably why I've just had it. But then if I wear a mask out, people look at me like I'm a total weirdo. They're like, COVID's over, lady. And I'm like, yeah, well, no one told my immune system about it, okay? So let's have a bit of sympathy for the sick lady. All right, we have to use the letter B, and we have the letter A, G, I, R, L, and N. Bagging? Bagging is a word. Yay, we did it. Ab. No, got nothing. Oh, God, I forgot to do it again. Sorry, guys. I will never learn. I will never learn to put it up on the screen. I have 2 monitors now, so like if I only look at one monitor, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. One day we will get there. We can have glib. I've been told that I'm very glib before. And I had to look up what that meant, to be honest, because someone said it to me when I was a kid. I was like, huh? Huh? What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know what words mean. Leave me alone. Bail. We do have bail. We can have bailing. That's a good one. Gotta use as many letters to get more points. Nabbing. We can have nabbing. Brigging? Is brigging a word? Let's see. Oh, rigging is a word. Rigging is a word because my dad used to be a rigger. He used to tie knots or whatever riggers do. I don't know. Oh no, there's no B. God damn it. Brain. We can have brain. One day I will find where my brain is, and that will be a good day for humanity. Braille. We do like to be inclusive. We should have some braille. It's not in the list. It's not in the list. that's ableism? It is ableism. It is. Oh, wait, can we have ableism? Able. No. Abler. Abling? We can have abling. Enabling? No, we can't have enabling. Can we have... Damn it. Just gonna try that. It's not a word. Billing. All right. Bling? I don't think bling is a real word, but let's just try it anyway. Okay, that is not a real word. Bling is a made-up word, and it let us... we can't have raining because there's no B in it, Ricochet. It has to have a B. I know. I always forget that too. I always forget the main thing. I'm like, oh... I do, yeah, we could have, I don't know if like you can have the word braining, like how would you use that in a sentence? I'm sorry, I'm braining. Don't talk to me. Okay, braining is a word according to the New York Times. Okay, all right. I think they're taking some liberties with the English language here. Libbing, ad-libbing? No, we can't have that because it's a B, not a D. Is there such a thing as just libbing? If there's ab-libbing, there might be libbing. Not a word. Ribbing? Librarian. Ooh, that is such a good one. We're going to break the game with that. We are going to break the game. I like it. I like it a lot. Yay! We did so good. Look at us. What a team. What a team. All right. Do, 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 do. Quick punches, probably jabs. Jabs are quick punches. Oh, I started watching the footy because it was on at 7:30, and yeah, Bulldogs were like just shitting all over GWS, and I was like, all right, well, I don't need to see this actually, so I just like rage quit like a little baby. I'm like, I don't want to see my team lose. That hurts my feelings. And when I don't like something, I stick my fingers in my ears and go la 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 la. Animal with unique stripes similar to human fingerprints. Zebra? Maybe it's a zebra or maybe it's a tiger. It could be a zebra or a tiger because I can't think of like what else has. Should we try zebra or tiger? Well, let's see what one down is. Treat once advertised as America's most famous dessert. I would think that would be apple pie, maybe. Heart of a monastery, that maybe is Abbey. I don't know. All right, if this is Abbey, then this must be zebra, I think. Let's try. Ah, stop it. The Rock's signature wrestling move. I know that he used to say, can you smell what the... Yeah, I'm using an on-screen keyboard because I don't have a keyboard for this PC yet. I have my work PC, but I don't think I can use it for like streaming because it's like belongs to the state government of Victoria. So I don't think I'm allowed to use it. So I will just leave it. I would just leave it in my office and not use like government property for my own commercial purposes. I have the patience of a saint. I have something. All right. It may or may not be autism. No, I always do tests to see if I have autism, because I always see like all these reels and stuff, and it's like, if you do this, you probably have autism. And then I actually look in the DSM, and like look at the diagnostic criteria for autism, and I don't have autism. I just have really bad ADHD. I got told by a neurologist that I don't have autism. I'm just really weird. And I was like, yeah, well, okay, that checks out. The people's something, The Rock's signature wrestling move. I don't know. I just know he used to say, can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Pump the brakes, say, I don't know. Many bluey viewers are toddlers? I don't know. I watch Bluey. Bluey's cute. Oh, it's elbow? He elbows people? All right. That's nice. Very nice of him. Grated citrus peel is a zest. Oh, this is Jello. They call it Jello in America, right? Not jelly. So we have to remember that. And oh, this is toys. Furrowed facial features. That's a brows. Lumber mill tools are saws. So close? Okay. What is wrong? What are we doing? 7 across. Pump the brakes. Huh. I don't understand. Pump the brakes, say something? I don't know. I don't understand. I'm too dumb, New York Times. Help a lady out, okay? Yeah, don't tell me how the score is going, Hyperbovium, because last time I looked it was a bloodbath. Hello, what's going on? What's going on? I would add a 4-letter word to that. Slows. But then it would be Abbo instead of Abby. Maybe no Abby. Yeah, maybe it's not Abby. Maybe Abbott. Maybe it's Abbott. Oh, yeah, because tots. Because they call toddlers tots, right? So that would make sense if it's Abbott and then it's slows and then it's tots. Wow, we are so smart, guys. We are so smart. Look at this. Yeah, boys. Yeah, we did it. Remember when YouTube was like just like one kid going, yeah, boy, until he like passed out? What a time to be alive. Yeah, I have a nice flower headpiece. I need to change the colors on it though. I need to do that tomorrow. We do try and spice things up in the hair accessory department. I paid like $3 for these really nice like cherry blossom like hair clips, but I can't get them to work because you have to like find the right bones for the physics, and the one that I used, it like made it like spring, and it was just like springing all over my head, and I'm like, well, that's clearly not the right one, but I don't know how to do it. My longest yeah boy ever. Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. Everybody's favorite, not frustrating game, connections. Yay. Uh-oh. Do I want a hint? No, I want you to go away. That's what I want. All right. Our words are rock, straw, eye, nature, nations, fiddle, guess, laugh, coming, party, resort, responder, lady, supper, rail, and aid. So four categories, 4 words per category. We don't know what the categories are, so we have to group the words and hope they make a category. Yay, how fun. I don't know. I actually don't know. This is hard. Why am I so sleepy? Well, I'm always sleepy. It's part of the joys of having your immune system attack you all day. It makes you tired. It's good times. Good times. I don't know. Okay, well, sometimes there's like the theme carries on from the crossword. And the rock was in the crossword, right? I don't know. Maybe let's try something with the rock. Maybe we look for wrestling things. Maybe it's like wrestlers' names. Was there a wrestler called like Nature Boy or something? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of Ric Flair. I don't know. I don't watch wrestling. I just kind of see it sometimes accidentally. Yeah, I have no idea. Supper, party. Nah. Nope. Supper, coming, party. Responder? Like a RSVP? I don't know. That's probably not correct. Party rockers in the house tonight? Nah. No, only grannies in the house tonight. Grannies getting into their pajamas early and going to bed. First supper, or is it the last? First supper. Last supper? You mean like last supper, like the Da Vinci painting? Like to pair the first responder, maybe. Okay. I was thinking of like responder as in first responder, last fiddle, last straw. That does work. Last straw. Last supper. Last resort. Okay. Last resort, last straw, last fiddle. Never heard that. Last nature, last lady, last responder, last laugh. There we go. We did it. I have to stop yelling when I get excited. Calm down, Panda. It's all right. It's okay. You don't need to have an aneurysm. First lady, First Nations, as in like indigenous people. I believe that's, you know, I believe that's like used globally now for indigenous peoples. First Nation. So we can have First Lady, First Nations, First Responder, First Aid. All right. Wow. This was really, really hard. And we're doing good. We are doing good with the help of Hyperborean. Second fiddle, second nature. Oh, you're a genius. Second fiddle, second nature, second guess yourself, second party, second coming. Oh my goodness. This is amazing. Look at us go. We're geniuses. And by us, I mean Hyperborean is a genius. Third eye. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was, Delta. Third rock is Earth. Yeah. Wow. Look what we did. Look at the teamwork. How amazing. How inspirational. Well, there's a bunch of news tonight, I guess. Apparently Canada is wants to recognize Palestinian statehood. So if they do, I don't think it will be long before the rest of like the constitutional monarchies follow stead, right? Because Australia and New Zealand will definitely be on board, and the UK as well, because kind of once, you know, we used to have Lizzie and now we've got Charles as our head of state. Weird how the Anglo countries are all doing this at once. I think it's very coordinated. I think it's very coordinated so that Trump doesn't chuck a toddler tantrum, right? Because it's spread too far across. Because obviously we've got like the Australasian constitutional monarchies of Australia and New Zealand, and then they've got Canada and then the UK. So it's spread across the Atlantic and it's also spread across the South Pacific. And I think it's too much for him to try and, you know, jerry rig some type of revenge like on the fly. I just don't think. I think that's why you think it feels more sinister. I think it can only be a good thing. I mean, there's been, I don't know how many votes in my lifetime there's been on recognizing a Palestinian statehood, and America's allies always abstain because they don't want to piss off America. And that's the reason why they always abstain. And then America vetoes it anyway. But yeah, I think it's, yeah, I think it can only be a good thing, because if Palestine's recognized internationally as a sovereign nation, it's going to change a lot of things, especially ICC prosecution and things like that. It's going to make international law a lot easier to apply. So yeah, I don't know. I think it can only be a move in the right direction. I just hate that people are starving and dying. And you know, they are in other countries as well, obviously, not just Palestine. But I would like it if it wasn't happening anywhere. Because, you know, I just think, like, to me, like, the left-right paradigm is kind of obsolete at this point. For me, I'm just like, well, morally is something right or wrong, and that's what I go with. But most of my immoral determinations seem to fall, you know, within the left wing sphere of things. But yeah, I don't know. But some left-wing people can like say some pretty horrific things, you know, and that's what happens when you stick to an ideology like so tightly, you know. It can sometimes mean that you morally make a bad decision. So that's, you know, just try and not be a cunt, I think, is the way to go through life. Try not to be an asshole to people. Try and make a moral decision. Talk about getting shot waiting for food. You fall into that trap sometimes. Well, yeah, I know people that you know, they're like, oh, I'm a socialist or I'm a communist or blah, 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 blah. And then they'll defend some really morally horrific things just because, you know, that particular philosophy or that particular ideology says, you know. And it's just like, yeah, don't do that. Like, you can agree with something like 90% and then just reject the shit. A kid was shot today. I haven't looked at anything yet, Ricochet, but yeah, that would not surprise me. It's obviously something that's been happening for a while. It's really disgusting, and it really needs to stop. But maybe after the Anglosphere, I don't even like saying Anglosphere, I'm just gonna say the constitutional monarchies of King Charles III, because I think that's more accurate. Hello, hooligan. I think once we all recognize a Palestinian state, it might be feasible to have some type of peacekeeping mission of a coalition of, you know, the UK, of New Zealand, of Australia, of Canada. It might be feasible to get some type of peacekeeping, you know, joint army, air force operation, navy operation to go, you know, all the royal forces get together and go storm the beaches of Gaza, but with food. And they'll also have guns. And if the IDF want to F around, they would find out. I mean, that would be the ideal situation. Because Trump's not going to do anything to stop them. He can't attack all his allies. He can't attack all of his allies to defend Israel. It's just not going to work. But this is what needs to be done. Something that extreme needs to get done. I'm all right, hooligan. How are you? Excuse me, I'm just sipping on some tea because I have a sore throat. All right, let's watch the video.
Another step towards recognising Palestine, but is yet to commit to doing so. Let's head now to our political reporter, Isabel Rowe, who's in Canberra for us. Hi there, Isabel. So what does this mean for Australia's position?
Well, this is no doubt some of that international momentum that government MPs have been talking about this morning and in recent days. As you say, the UK, France and now Canada have made this move. It undoubtedly puts pressure on Australia to declare its position. Now, Anthony Albanese spoke about this yesterday. He talked about, of course, supporting a two-state solution. He's talked about doing that, though, based on some preconditions. He doesn't want to put a timeline to it. He says when he does it, he wants it to have some sort of outcome, some positive outcome for the Palestinian people. Now, we also signed on to a statement yesterday with 14 other nations that talked about the intention of those joint foreign affairs ministers to recognise a Palestinian state at some point in the future. The Treasurer, Jim Chalmers, said this morning it really is just a matter of time.
It's a matter of when, not if, Australia recognises.
It's kind of urgent. It is kind of urgent. It is kind of, you know, a time-sensitive issue, mate. Don't know if you've noticed this, but people are dying. Just want to put that out there. Just want to put that out there, mate. People are dying. So get cracking.
A Palestinian state. Well, I don't want to put a time frame on it. It's been a long-standing bipartisan policy that we see a two-state solution in that part of the Middle East. From my point of view, that progress that is being made, that momentum that we're seeing in the international community is welcome, but it's also conditional.
We've also heard from the Prime Minister's office this morning that Anthony Albanese has spoken to the UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer. They have had a phone call, and Anthony Albanese's office says that Sir Keir Starmer
Party policy, they kicked Fatma Payment out when she supported it. Yeah, they did. They did. Look, crossing the floor is... Yeah, when you cross the floor like that, you pretty much know that there's a good chance you're going to get expelled from the party. So, I mean, I think, she definitely knew that that was probably going to be the outcome, and she did it anyway. And look, like senators get 6 years in the Senate, so you know she's kind of locked in for 2 government terms in the Senate anyway, even as an independent. So, and you know she tried to start her own party. I know. I think it was, what was it, a Muslim Voice? Was that the name of the party? They were campaigning pretty hard where I grew up, like around Western Sydney, which is pretty Australia Voice. Oh, was it? Maybe my brain just made up. Maybe because all the people that I know that were talking about it were Muslim, so I just assumed it was a Muslim party. But yeah, they were campaigning really hard in Western Sydney where I grew up. I saw that they were going for some pretty safe Labor seats. But yeah. It's I'm trying to think of the member for Shifley's name. It's evading me right now. But he's also Muslim. Why can't I think of his name? Chisholm? Shifley? Chisholm. It's Chisholm, right? Mount Druitt. Mount Druitt is Chisholm? Oh, I can't remember. My brain's hurting. Should I Google that? I'll Google that. Member. Oh. I think it's Chisholm. No, not Chisholm. Oh, they changed all the seats. Garland? No. Yeah, no, my brain's gone, guys. Don't worry about me. Chisholm is in Victoria. Okay, what am I thinking of then? Is it Shifley? Getting all my things mixed up. Go having dyslexia. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. It was Chifley. I got it right the first time. I don't want the map. I want the minister. Assuming it's still the same one. Ed Husick. Ed Husick. That's who I was thinking of. I did say Chifley first, right? And then I corrected myself. You know what? Chisholm was in the news a lot because I live in Victoria. That's why I got it mixed up. I did get it right the first time. Yeah, Ed Husick. He's also a practicing Muslim that's in, he's been in the Labor Party for a really long time. Yeah, I think if they both had crossed the floor together, they probably wouldn't have got in trouble. That's my understanding. But he's been advocating for Palestine pretty hard, like in caucus, is my understanding, that he's been, you know, doing that. So I don't know. Sometimes I think I understand why she crossed the floor, and I'm not casting any aspersions on anything. I'm just, you know, sometimes it's better to stay in the party and advocate from within the party. But you know, she did send a really strong message, and I think she's only in her 20s, right? Like, she's still really young, and she's probably going to have, you know, a political career ahead of her if she wants it, and she'll probably be able to do some things. But obviously, like, the Labor Party is Australia's only political party that can form government and govern in its own right. So I just think, I don't know, like, with hindsight, I wonder if she kind of regrets leaving, just because, you know, being in a party that can be the governing party kind of does give you a little bit more influence. But yeah, I was trying to remember Ed Husick's name, and it was just going out of my brain. Like, it was just falling out. You feel like most of Labor's lost members are young and impatient. Well, I know, like, a lot of the Greens Party members are people that used to be Labor members and defected. Like, Adam Bant used to be a Labor member, and then he, like, he had a tantrum when he was never going to get a pre-selection, so he went in for a seat. And like, it's people, a lot of them are people that like had their eyes on political power and they were never going to get it. The same with that double-barreled last name, soft hands guy in Queensland. Don't know his name, but he looks like he puts on moisturizer after he gets out of the shower. I'm just saying that. I liked when he was like Maxi Poos, Beef Wellington or whatever his name is, Beef Wellington the third. Yeah, he when he was like talking to the CFMEU and he like put on he's like, oh, what are my working class clothes? And he was wearing like a black t-shirt. And it's like, mate, you wouldn't last one day on a job site. You would not last one day. You would not. He'd be like, oh no, I need my Nivea nighttime cream. That was funny. It was funny.
Laid out his framework that the UK plans to use to recognise a state of Palestine. The leaders discussed aid. They discussed this international momentum, those words again, towards trying to get to a ceasefire and the shared goals of those nations.
All right. I'm so mean to people that I don't like. I need to stop. All right. Global push to recognize Palestinian state at the United Nations Assembly.
There's growing momentum among Western powers to recognise Palestinian statehood. Canada will join France and the United Kingdom in making the declaration at the UN General Assembly in September. At this stage, the Albanese government isn't following suit, but has confirmed.
Nah, he's got until September. You can do it. You can do it, mate. We believe in you. We believe in you. You can do it.
It's a matter of when, not if. Here's National Affairs correspondent Jane Norman.
First France, then Britain, now Canada.
Canada intends to recognise the state of Palestine at the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in September.
Big Western powers.
Come on. And now the Anzacs, we have to do it, Australia and New Zealand. Remember when we stormed the beaches of Gallipoli together? Well, I don't, because I obviously wasn't there. But you know what I mean. We could do it. We have the genetic memory. We have not just the genetic memory, but we have the national memory. We can, we can do it. It's who we are as a people. Although that war was completely pointless. And why were we storming beaches in Turkey when we live in Australia and New Zealand? Who knows? Well, we know, for the British Empire. But I digress. Don't get me off on tangents, guys. I have ADHD. The struggle is real. All right, let's go.
Applying maximum pressure on Israel as the Arab world abandons Hamas. For the first time, the entire Arab League signing a UN statement demanding the militant group disarm and surrender control over Gaza. A coordinated international effort to end the war.
The level of human suffering in Gaza is intolerable.
We welcome the momentum towards a pathway to peace.
The Australian government's growing increasingly alarmed, but isn't following allies in recognising Palestinian statehood yet.
I have been.
Why do you think we're dragging our feet? Fuck Penny Wong. Well, yeah. Yes. I would make a joke, but I think it would be inappropriate. So I'm not gonna say the joke that just popped into my head, but you have zero respect for her now? Such a letdown? Yeah. Yeah. Well, a lot of people only advocate for things that benefit them, She was pretty vocal when it was like, recognizing gay and lesbian rights. She's pretty vocal about that, right? Because she's in a same-sex relationship. But if you can only, empathize for a group that you belong to or advocate for a group that you belong to, I think it kind of does make you a bit of a shit cunt, to be honest. I think it kind of does make you a bit of a dickhead. Liberal Party will take the media narrative immediately. Yeah, they already have. They've already taken the ball and running towards the try line. It's
saying it's a matter of when, not if.
A question contingent on certain conditions being met.
Whether it's the release of the hostages, making sure that there is absolutely no role for Hamas in the future leadership of Palestine.
We will be completely opposed to a premature recognition of a Palestinian state.
The opposition.
Notice how, like, Sinn Féin is active in Irish politics. That's really interesting. So I'm not, like, just saying this for any Twitch moderators listening or any YouTube moderators listening. I do not support Hamas. But I am just drawing a historical parallel. So Sinn Féin is the political arm of the Irish Republican Army that was designated a terrorist organization by most of the world, especially the UK. And the Sinn Féin party to this day, obviously Ireland has, you know, independence. It has had independence probably, for a good 80 years now. Let me check. My maths is bad. What year is it? Anywho, Ireland does have independence. And it has for a while. But my point is, I hit my microphone up. My point is Sinn Féin and the IRA are intrinsically linked. They are essentially the same thing. And the Sinn Féin party has been the ruling party in Ireland. So 140-ish, yeah, but it only came into effect in the 40s. Irish independence didn't. It wasn't like from the time of the treaty. There was a bit of time in between. I believe it was 1949 that Ireland actually became independent, if I'm not mistaken, but I would have to look that up to be 100% sure. I'm just bad at maths, guys. I'm not good at maths, but yeah. I like studying history. Irish history is super interesting, and there are so many good movies about, like, Michael Collins is a really good movie about Michael Collins, obviously, and the Easter Uprising. Yeah, but it only, like, let me check. I don't know if the word ratified is what I'm looking for, or implemented. In 1949, Ireland formally became a republic with the implementation of the Republic of Ireland Act. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. See, I knew I was right. I knew I was right. Look, I am a brain dead bimbo, but I do actually read books. And, yes. Easter Monday, 1949 marked the 33rd anniversary of the Easter Uprising. Look, I knew, okay, because my dad is so obsessed with history, so I grew up just constantly, you know. My dad didn't get the privilege of getting to actually go to school. I think he went to school for like 3 years, and then he just came from a really poor family, and he had to work. Like he had to labor as a literal child, but he's incredibly intelligent, and he liked to read a lot. Not that he had much time, but he was obsessed with history, and that's why, like, I became obsessed with history as well. I found it really interesting. There was always a documentary on TV that we were watching, or a book that he was reading that he would give to me to read afterwards. And my dad was, like, obviously very, very, very active in the MUA and then the CFMEU. The MUA was before I was born, but my dad was, like, friends with every every major unionist in Sydney. Like when I was little, I used to go to barbecues where there would be like, you know, the secretary of like the ACTU there and things like that. Like, yeah, grew up like very close to the union movement. So it's, you know, it's something that I know a lot of those people. But yeah, I've never kind of used it to my advantage. I probably should try and network, but yeah. But my point is that the IRA and Sinn Féin are the same entity. This is Sinn Féin is a part of it's the political arm of the IRA, and they're allowed to form government, and they have formed government. They have been the ruling party in Ireland, you know, depending on whether or not they win the elections. So I don't think it's kind of okay for people to say, well, Hamas aren't allowed to have anything to do with Palestinian statehood, right? Because like Yasser Arafat has been the leader of Palestine before. Like I just don't get how they're allowed to make that demand. They can perhaps say, okay, Hamas is not allowed to engage in any terroristic activities henceforth. You could say that we want Hamas to demilitarize, or we want Hamas to, you know, sign some type of pacifist constitution, or, you know, whatever it is, whatever you want to do. Perhaps you could make those demands, but I just don't think you get to make those demands when historically we have examples of other sovereign nations, and this is in the 20th century. We're talking about last century, when all this stuff happened, right? Like there were bombings, the IRA were bombing like London in like the 60s and 70s. And to this day, if you go to London, there's no bins anywhere. You try and throw away something when you're walking around London. When I was there, and I was with one of my dad's half siblings, and I asked them, I was like, oh, like I need to chuck out my rubbish. Like, where's the bin? And they're like, oh, well, we don't have bins because the IRA used to put bombs in them. And I was like, huh, all right, well, there you go, kids.
Sticking firmly to Australia's long-standing position for recognition to come after a Palestinian peace deal with Israel. Momentum is clearly building among Western nations to recognise Palestinian statehood before a two-state solution has been reached. Some within government say the pace has taken them by surprise. Either way, it's now broadly accepted that Australia will make this foreign policy shift, even if it's not bipartisan. Israel has condemned moves towards recognition. Palestine will be free! Mixed views too among Palestinian Australians.
Palestinians are not calling for recognition. Palestinians are calling for liberation and the right to self-determination.
The time is now. Now that other Western powers are doing it, there's no excuse for Australia to not do it.
But hopes the Middle East might be on the cusp of a momentous shift. Jane Norman, ABC News, Canberra.
Canada's decision to recognise Palestinian statehood is part of a highly coordinated international strategy. Here's Global Affairs editor Laura Tingle.
Anthony Albanese says Australia doesn't have a great deal of direct influence in the Middle East, but has been working with like-minded countries.
Just because we don't have any power, just because we don't have any much clout, it doesn't mean that we can't make a symbolic gesture and do as much as we can with, you know, through our diplomatic avenues. I think at the very least what we should be doing, and what we should have done a long time ago, is expel diplomatic staff. Just kick them out. Just freaking turf them. Do you know, I don't know how big the Israeli embassy is in Canberra, but let's look it up. I bet you it's big. Imagine how many like women fleeing domestic violence or homeless people could be housed there. Let's have a look. Let's see how big it is. Israeli Embassy, Australia. Oh, it looks pretty. It looks pretty ritzy. Let's have a look. How big is it? Some legend standing out there with a Palestinian flag. Maybe if I write size. It's not specified. So apparently it can potentially house 11,000 people. Imagine 11,000 people in need of homes just chilling out in the Israeli embassy. I bet it's nice. I mean, you'd have to go to Canberra, which, like, obviously Canberra sucks. As disgusting as Canberra is, it's still better than being homeless, guys. Like, yeah, I would definitely, as disgusting as Canberra is, I would definitely rather be in the Israeli embassy than on the streets. Just kick them out. Put some people that need housing in there. Off you go, dickheads. See ya, boy.
The series of announcements on recognising Palestinian statehood shows the extent of that international cooperation. Global leaders sense a tipping point has been reached in the much weakened political and military position of Hamas and in the collapsed moral authority of Israel. Faced with both sides' intransigence, world leaders know their influence has to be maximised. And so the strategy is to gradually ramp up the pressure on Israel, Hamas, but also on the United States. Significantly, the Arab states are intimately involved. The spectre of mass starvation and the acceleration of Israel's annexation of Palestinian territory have brought the question of recognition to a head. The focus is on finding interim arrangements on how a new state could actually be secured and governed amid the rubble of Gaza.
What did I do? Stop. Get some help. I think this is just another story about Canada, but I was just getting videos ready. This might have more information. I mean, really, the UK were the people that facilitated. England was the country that, like, facilitated the formation of Israel. So I kind of think it is. I think they should clean up their mess, honestly. If anyone's got, like, the blood on their hands, it's definitely them. And then America kind of took over as, like, being the what do you call it, like the arbiters of freaking poo heads.
On the Canadian government signalling it will recognise a Palestinian state. The move has increased pressure on the Australian government to do so. The federal opposition says it doesn't support Australia following suit. However, the Treasurer says it's a matter of when, not if.
I don't want to put a time.
Well, if it's inevitable, just do it now. If it's inevitable, just do it now. I don't want to, when I eventually have kids, I don't want to have to explain to them why our country didn't do anything. Not to, like, bring out the freaking old, the old platitudes, but it's freaking un-Australian. It's freaking un-Australian to sit there while something like this is happening and not say anything. Like, Australians call out people's fucking bullshit. It's a national trait. It's one that bothers a lot of people that are pussies from pussy countries, that we will call you out on your shit. If you want to be a dickhead, we're going to fucking call you a dickhead, right? And that's how it works, all right? Let's go.
On it. It's been a long-standing bipartisan policy that we see a two-state solution in that part of the Middle East. From my point of view, that progress that is being made, that momentum that we're seeing in the international community is welcome, but it's also conditional There are a number of obstacles still in the way to recognition of a Palestinian state. For example, the treatment, the release of the hostages, making sure that there's absolutely no role for Hamas. These are the sorts of things that the international community is working through. The reason we want to see a two-state solution is because Israeli families and Palestinian families need and deserve to be able to raise their kids in peace.
Jim Chalmers there. Well, Global Affairs editor Laura Tingle joins me now in the studio. Laura, what's your reaction to Jim Chalmers' comments there? Are these more strident comments than we've heard previously from the government?
You don't believe anyone who's talking about drawing borders? Well, I mean, if you recognise a Palestinian state, you would have to define a Palestinian state. It can't be just some pie in the sky rhetorical thing. It has to, yeah. Well, state recognition would mean that you recognize this is a sovereign territory, right? Under international law, the recognition of a state as legitimate means that therefore it would have the right to self-determination. Like whatever type of apartheid tiered, citizenry or whatever wouldn't be able to exist. And what are we looking at here? Are we looking at West Bank and Gaza as being Palestine? What are we looking at? And yeah, this would be something that the international community would have to oversee, right? Because we obviously can't leave this to Israel. We obviously I don't know. I don't see this conflict coming to an end with any type of statehood for Palestine unless like-minded countries get together. And I would like to see it be Australia, New Zealand, the UK and Canada. I would like to see that. I think that would be something to aspire to. I think that would be something that would be great.
Well, Catherine, the position of the government has actually been when, not if, for some time, as in that's what Penny Wong signalled a shift with, I think, about April last year. But the crucial thing, of course, is always context. So when the Treasurer says when, not if, at a time like this, when obviously, there's this momentum building internationally, it takes on a new significance.
I want to ask you about what you make of this building momentum that we're seeing. Canada has now followed France with the UK in this plan for recognition at the UN General Assembly. Just how coordinated do you think this international approach is?
I think it's really coordinated. I think it seems to have been underway since the beginning of the year.
And I said that. I said they're all on the back channels together. They're all on the back channels to each other. So little Trump doesn't know what they're doing. And it may well be that given America's history of overthrowing Labor governments that push back on America's agenda even slightly, it may even be that in the 11th hour, when we have our UN delegates at the UN, they already know that they are going to vote to recognize a Palestinian state. They just don't want to broadcast it because, well, we know what happened to Whitlam and we know what happened to Rudd. And maybe that is just playing it safe because America has its little spies. Believe it or not, there are some shit cunt Australians that are taking payments from the CIA. They're in both political parties. And they are America's bitch. And honestly, I don't believe in the death penalty, all right? But I don't know. I'm just saying, if you fuck over your country like that, either go live in America and just take American doodles up your whatever orifice you enjoy. I don't know what your preference is. I wouldn't sleep with somebody that would betray their country, but whatever you're into, mate, just go over there and freaking get anyway, I'm gonna calm down because this could go off on some gross graphic tangents. So deep breath, calm blue ocean. All right. Let's calm down. All right. But yeah, we know that America has people on the payroll in both political parties, and they will do what they have to do when they are told to do it. So let's just calm down.
Largely led by France and Saudi Arabia. The role of the Arab nations hasn't really been highlighted all that much so far, but without a doubt, a big concern has been, that everyone wanted to get some sort of resolution to stop the killing in Gaza, and hopefully some bigger picture solution, but that they've seen, and we see this in the language of the various leaders who've spoken, that the opportunities to actually have something that resembles a state are slipping away with all the actions by Israel to annex more and more properties in the West Bank and also in Gaza, and they've escalated that. So on top of the humanitarian crisis, there's this need to act, and without a doubt, I think you're seeing this rollout of statements rather than everybody just coming out and saying, look, we'll recognise Palestine now.
Yeah, what are the significance of those statements? We've seen Australia sign on to the Foreign Minister one. There was also one out of New York as well.
Yes, there's been this big conference going on in New York, once again led by France and the Saudis. That conference made a much bigger statement which was signed by about 18 countries, including Qatar, which I think is really significant. The Foreign Minister statement, which we signed on, was a little bit more assertive, but I think clearly that statement from the Foreign Ministers was designed to sort of support the two countries who at that stage had come out, which was France and the UK. We've now seen the Canadians come out overnight. And it's interesting to see how they're all sort of pushing the various parties in slightly different ways. France and the UK were putting the pressure on Israel, but we've seen Mark Carney really sort of honing in on the Palestinian Authority and the need for it to get its act together.
Yeah, and so all these statements and ideas about the progression towards Palestinian statehood comes with all of these conditions. Do you think that these conditions will be an impediment?
Of course they will be.
The conditions are a bit of a saving face exercise in the sense that you can't really believe that when Keir Starmer laid down those conditions for Israel, there was any expectation in the UK Foreign Office that Israel would meet any of them, just given the belligerence of its stance, particularly amongst the far-right members of the government. So I think that the conditions aren't really an impediment. But
it's so interesting that the Labor Party have kind of, in the modern era, been the champion of First Nations Australians, right? Saying sorry, putting the voice to Parliament, to a referendum, doing all these things. But when it comes to the Indigenous people of Palestine, like, where is the advocacy for them to have, native title, if you will? Where is the advocacy for them to have their homeland, which they are Indigenous to, genetically they are Indigenous to. And, there are some Arab Jews that are Indigenous to that area, like Sephardic Jews are Indigenous to that area. But Ashkenazi Jews, they come from the same countries as my foremothers and forefathers, right? They come from Russia. They come from Poland. They come from Czechia, Slovakia, all of the Western and Eastern Slavic countries. That's where they come from. That's where they're Indigenous to.
They are giving all the parties some room to move of their own volition if they so choose, but it's quite clear now where things are heading. And of course, the significance of what's happened now is we've now got 4 out of 5 members of the Security Council saying that they're going to back statehood. The only standout is the US. Now,
which was going to be my last question to you. Yeah, where does this leave the US?
Well, it leaves it pretty isolated. Now, we know that Donald Trump doesn't have a very high opinion of the UN, but he also doesn't like images of violence, and he also wants to be seen to be leading the world, not being dragged along. So I think it's as much a pincer movement on the United States as it is on the various parties in the dispute.
let's have a look at the voting record. Actually, let's have a look at the voting record for Palestinian statehood. We should be able to find it pretty easily. Wish I had a keyboard, but I don't. UN voting. Ah, what's playing? Shush. Shush your mouth, YouTube. I did not give you permission to talk. UN voting record. Palestinian. Statehood. Where's the list of countries though? Veto power, the UN. The UN Security Council, particularly the permanent members with veto power, including the United States, has been a major obstacle to Palestine's full UN membership. I know that Putin's daughter is married to a very, very, very wealthy Zionist Jewish man. So I wonder, you hate having a cold, you're never going to a hardcore concert again. I mean, it's a good place to get sick for sure. Last time I went to a hardcore show, I broke a rib. Although I'd already had that rib broken before, so I think it was pretty yeah, a form of fracture. It was pretty weak already. Oh, it's my own fault. I played stupid games and I won stupid prizes. I knew the risks. I'm too small. I'm too small for circle pits. It's just not a good thing for somebody of my size and yeah, just not good. Usually people at hardcore shows are pretty good at taking care of women. It's usually fine, but occasionally, you know, things can just get a bit too hectic and, you know, innocent people get caught up in the crossfire, and that's what happens. That's what happens sometimes. It's an occupational hazard of being a music fan. These days I'm always like in seat. I'm just too sick. I just don't have the health. Oh, that reminds me, I have to go to the gym after streaming. Gotta get on the hack squats, gotta get on everything I have to do. I don't want to do it. Okay, so I'm just going to play videos without telling people what they are. Actually, I should watch all the videos that are related to each other. Okay, these are all about the earthquake. So we're going to learn about the earthquake. Oh, 8.8. Jeez. That's on the Richter scale that I believe only goes up to 10. Jupy. I don't want to use the Lord's name in vain, but I will say what the Irish say. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. All right.
Magnitude 8.8 earthquake struck off the coast of Russia, triggering tsunami warnings and evacuations in more than 20 countries.
The Kluchevskoye volcano in eastern Russia began erupting shortly after the 8.8 magnitude earthquake that struck off the Kamchatka coast, the worst earthquake in over a decade and one of the top 6 strongest earthquakes on record, according to geological surveys. Cameras observing the volcano captured explosions and a powerful glow, with a descent of hot lava observed on the western slope. Reportedly, the volcano had been showing signs of unrest in the weeks leading up to the earthquake. Experts have now warned that the earthquake could trigger or exacerbate volcanic eruptions.
Imagine what's going to happen to Australia when New Zealand explodes. Or like Krakatoa, that was like Indonesia. Like we are so close to having like shit go down. Obviously Australia's pretty geologically stable for the most part. We're right in the middle of a tectonic plate. We're pretty safe. But yeah, tsunamis, it doesn't really matter if they happen off the coast of the plate. Like it doesn't matter, they can still come to us. It goes above 10, but it's logarithmic. Seismic force 11 is like when the moon crashed into the earth. Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay. Well, we don't 11 is like you're fucking fucked. Fucking extinction level. Okay, I got you. Yeah, we really don't want that. We're lucky that continental drift is so slow, but obviously like the Pacific ring of fire. I almost said rim of fire. I have a problem with my brain. Okay. Yeah, we are surrounded by a lot of those countries, so I don't know. It's a bit scary. Does everybody remember that? I think it was 2004 tsunami that happened in Indonesia? Ugh.
While yesterday's large earthquake did not cause the eruption to begin, it did likely increase the vigour of the eruption, including some ash emissions. Kluchevskoye, which rises 4,754 metres above sea level on Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula, sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire.
Today, more than 400 active volcanoes shape life on the Pacific Rim. Geologists call it the Ring of Fire.
The Ring of Fire is an enormous belt of active and dormant volcanoes that surrounds most of the Pacific Ocean. It runs from southern Chile up the western coast of the Americas, through the islands of Alaska, across to Russia, down to Japan and then the Philippines, through Indonesia, and reaching as far as New Zealand.
August 1883, Indonesia. The Krakatoa volcano blew itself to pieces.
This blocked out the sun, guys. This blocked out the sun. Like, plant life was having trouble. Like, this affected us. Like, Krakatoa was nuts. Just volcanic ash circling the globe. Like, yeah. I think everyone learnt about Krakatoa at school, right? Such a cool name, Krakatoa. Love it. I mean, I don't love that it exploded, but I like the name. It's like when we were doing the crossword and like Lake Titicaca was an answer to something, or like what country is Lake Titicaca in, and I just wanted to like chant Lake Titicaca. It just sounds so cool. You know how some things just like kind of bring out like this primeval like need to like chant it because it's a cool name, and just like dance around a campfire going Krakatoa, Krakatoa. I guess a lot of volcanoes are like worshipped as gods. But yeah, that's why they give them cool names so they can like chant and make offerings to the volcano god, which is pretty sick. I'm into it. I need some cool names. Although Australia's got lots of cool indigenous names for places, I guess. We just need to chant them. We just need to get together and have a bonfire, have some beers, make offerings of like, I don't know, eucalyptus or something. I don't know.
Creating the loudest sound in recorded history. June 1991, the Philippines. Mount Pinatubo blasted debris 22 miles into the atmosphere. Suffocating ash swamped over 2,500 square miles. And in May
Mount St. Helens. Have you guys seen the movie Dante's Peak? If you guys have seen the movie Dante's Peak with like the pyroclastic like explosion, all I remember from Dante's Peak was the people like in the hot spring and they got boiled. They were like doing, this guy and lady, they were like trying to have sexy time in the hot spring. And this was like, you know, in the days leading up to the eruption. And they were having sexy times, and then like the hot spring like started boiling and they got boiled alive. That's what I remember from that movie, Good Times. Oh, and the scenes of like the volcanologists, is that what they're called? Like trying to outdrive like this type of explosion. But apparently like that's what they based Dante's Peak. I always said Dante's Inferno, and then I'm like, no, that's the great Italian novel, the Divine Comedy, if you will.
1980, Mount St. Helens caused $1 billion of damage.
These volcanoes arise because of subduction, the movement of a tectonic plate under a neighbouring plate, which lowers the melting point of a rock in the mantle. The rock turns to magma, rises to the surface, and erupts as a volcano.
Geology is a very sexy subject, Delta. I don't know. I find rocks and, you know, and all that stuff pretty cool. I found it pretty good. Oh, actually, another trauma memory unlocked. When I was like a teenager, I had to take my little brother to his cricket practice, and I was like in high school, and I was like this little goth chick sitting underneath a tree. Anyway, my brother's cricket coach was like a geologist, like that was his job. Anyway, he was like hitting on me when I was like 16, and he was like probably, I want to say, like in his 30s. I mean, look, I get liking goth girls, but I was a freaking child, and I have always looked really young for my age too. So like super creepy, dude. Super creepy. It was like, oh yeah, like you can come to the lab and I'll show you this and I'll show you that, and like you should come look at my rock collection. And I was like, no, nope. I know where this is ending. I know where this is. I know what you're doing, you creep. You creep. No. I just have a lot of trauma, Delta. So like literally whatever you say, you could just say any random thing and I'll be like, let me tell you a story about the one time a lemon fell on my head and gave me a concussion. That didn't happen. But let's just say if you were to talk about lemons, that would be, you know, I would have some story about like how I was traumatized by a lemon. I've just had a life, guys. I've just been out here suffering.
About 2/3 of the volcanoes that have erupted since 1960 were in the ring, and more than 80% of earthquakes with a magnitude of 8.0 or higher have also occurred there.
Oh my god, we're having an earthquake. Wait a minute. Hold on.
I thought the Melbourne earthquake was like, oh, Delta, do you remember well, of course you remember, it was like a few years ago, but did you feel the Melbourne earthquake? Because I really felt it. I thought like the people underneath me for like a millisecond where like you don't realize what's happening. I was like, oh, the people on the floor beneath me are like jackhammering the ceiling, because the floor felt like it was being jackhammered, but from underneath. And then like, that was like my initial thought, right? Until like my brain kicked in and was like, why would they be jackhammering their ceiling? I was like, holy shit, that's an earthquake. It's an earthquake. I was like, what the heck? And then I was like Googling, was there just an earthquake? And it took like 15 minutes for the internet to be like, yes, there was just an earthquake. And then like a few months later, I got an earthquake warning on my phone. Like my phone buzzed and made this noise it's never made before, like an alert sound. And it was like, oh, there was an earthquake at like Sunbury or something. And I was like, what the heck? What the heck is happening?
Serious damage on the periphery. It is estimated that 800 million people, roughly 10% of the world's population, lives within 100 kilometers of an active volcano.
You can't predict future eruptions of a volcano until you know its character. Some of the instrumentation we use can be as simple as our own senses.
Yeah, Earth seems to be going through like a slightly increased geological events, whatever. I don't know what you call it, but you remember Sunbury happened at like 1 a.m. Yeah, it definitely happened when I was in bed, because I was kind of falling asleep, and yeah, my phone vibrated and made a weird noise, and I looked and I was like, huh? Oh, okay. And then like I literally didn't feel anything. I mean, I'm sure there was an earthquake. I just didn't feel anything. And I'm in the western suburbs too. Not like as far out as Sunbury, but still, you figure if like you were going to feel something, you would feel it, especially considering how far away like Mansfield is from Melbourne. But apparently it was the depth of the quake, which is why it felt so strong. It was the depth rather than like the magnitude of it was the reason why things were shaking as much as they were.
But really, to provide data that's quantifiable, we have to resort to high-tech equipment such as seismometers, deformation equipment, and gas analysis.
Scientists agree that the Ring of Fire will continue to be a site of significant seismic events. Analysing volcanoes and earthquakes in the Ring of Fire could help scientists improve extreme hazard predictions and help develop early warning systems to reduce the risk to the world's population.
The shape of the Pacific will slowly change. For millions of years to come, explosive volcanoes will continue to line its shores. Dynamic proof that the Earth is...
I was reading this paper, I don't know how long ago, but I was reading this paper and it was like a prediction of like what's going to happen when Australia hits the Asian, because Australia's drifting north, I think at like 6 centimeters a year or whatever. But what happens when eventually the Australian or the oceanic tectonic plate hits the Asian tectonic plate? And they were saying like it's going to create a mountain range that is like bigger than that, like taller than the Himalayas. And it's and they were like hypothesizing like what kind of animals might live there and what might like the fauna look like. And they were saying there would be like giant metallic spiders that live in the new like Australian like Asian mountain range. What the heck? That sounds like a hellscape, but that's not going to happen for like another billion years, I think. So I think we're okay. I think we're all right. I think we won't be here. I don't think our species will be here. Either we would have gotten off planet or we would have destroyed ourselves because we're dickheads. Anyway, I'm going to go get another tea and I will be back shortly. I am back. Did you miss me? You know what I hate? Your tea is either too hot or too cold to drink. Like, if you let it cool, and then when you go to drink it, it's too cold. But you can't just drink it when you make it because it's too hot. Like, what a dumb invention. Who invented leaf juice? Well, I'm the one drinking it, so... How annoying.
Is never at rest.
Oh, that's the end of the video. What we know about a massive Russian earthquake. Where in Russia was it? They said the name of the volcano. If it's the Pacific Ring, did it happen on like the Vladivostok side? Like close to Japan and stuff, and that's why they're worried about it? I know I've watched a video about Kamchatka, where it's like a big like wild reserve. I watched this Russian girl called Ellie from Russia. I really like her channel. She basically travels to like all of the Russian republics, and she was in Iran just before they started bombing it. Next to Alaska. Oh, okay, so the other side then. Because it's not on the Australian side. Because Vladivostok and Tokyo and Sydney and all of the eastern coast of Australia are basically all in the same time zone. Like, it's just a straight line. It's just a straight line. So I thought maybe it happened on that side. But if it didn't, it didn't. But how do I enter on this? Someone help me, I'm dumb. Where's a map? Where is a map? Oh, it looks so pretty. Oh, it is on our side. It is on our side. It would be in the same time zone as Australia then. There's Japan. Yeah, that's where I was thinking. That's where I was thinking. Vladivostok is around here. Okay. That's what I thought. Where's the world map? Squeeze me. Can you do what I want you to do? World. Map. Okay, so here's where it happened. Here's where it happened, and here's Australia. Straight line. Straight line down. Yeah, I'm looking at pictures of world maps Hyperborean, so I should be right. I don't think anyone cares enough about me to rock up at my house, so I'm in the way of the map anyway. But here's where the earthquake was, and here's Australia, so straight line. So the earthquake happened in our time zone, which is like, you know, obviously we're right down the bottom and they're right down the top, but oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. I am somebody that would dox myself. But yeah, I don't think anyone cares enough about me to rock up at my house. Although I have had 3 stalkers in my life. Yeah. Although one of the stalkers just used to leave chocolate and flowers on my door. That was at my door. That was when I lived in West Footscray all by myself. And I was like, oh God. I don't know. I think it's just like a harmless guy that's like too scared to talk to me. So they would like leave like little notes and like chocolates and like flowers and stuff at my door. But the other stalkers that I had, they weren't the nice, harmless kind. Although I didn't eat the chockies just in case they had like roofies in them and he would break into my house or something. Yummy, 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 yummy. All right, Let's go.
Tsunami alerts have been lifted across the Pacific after one of the world's most powerful earthquakes struck eastern Russia. But some warnings remain in place in parts of South America, including Chile. The magnitude 8.8 quake hit the sparsely populated Kamchatka Peninsula, triggering evacuation alerts for millions of people in Pacific countries. Waves of 3 to 5 metres swamped a port town in Russia's Far East, prompting fears a large tsunami could flood eastern Japan, Hawaii and the US West Coast. There have been several aftershocks in eastern Russia, where residents have described the aftermath of the major tremor.
It all started shaking. The shelves started trembling. Together with my colleagues, we turned everything off and ran outside. We saw everything trembling. The brick pipes were just melting and disappearing from the roofs. Everything, tarmac, ground, buildings were just going in waves. It lasted for about 2 minutes. After that, we immediately evacuated to a safe place.
Cameras captured Russian surgeons clutching onto patients in an operating room as the quake hit.
Yeah, that's a long-ass earthquake. That's a long-ass earthquake. I think the one in Melbourne only lasted a few seconds. It felt long because obviously it was like, what the fuck is happening? But I think it was only, you know, seconds. But yeah, that's absolutely insane. But it's so easy to forget all the stuff that's happening beneath the surface of the earth, right? There's so much movement all the time. There's so many things happening all the time, especially in Australia, you know, where we don't have active volcanoes and we don't have any of this stuff. Obviously, like we've had earthquakes. But yeah, nothing, you know, nothing like this. Absolutely insane. There was a 7.5 aftershock. That's absolute insanity. That's absolute insanity. That's why you got to keep an eye on your animals, because your animals will know. They'll know, like, before, if your cats and dogs start freaking out, you know that there's some type of weather event or some type of something happening. I don't know how they know, but they know. Like before the Boxing Day tsunami in Indonesia, and all the animals in Thailand and all the animals in Indonesia and stuff, they just started rushing inland, like to get to high ground as soon as you see that. Or if you're ever on the beach, I always have this nightmare, right? But if you're ever on the beach and you see the ocean recede, fucking just peg it, like, it's like, find the highest thing you can. If it's the top of a building, if it's up a big hill, just leg it, just fang it up a hill. If you have a car nearby, hop in the car, fang it up at like the highest point you can find, because that means it's about to be a tsunami. And I always have dreams where I'm on the beach, I'm walking on the beach, and then all of a sudden, like, the water just recedes. And then I always have dreams where I either like survive a tsunami or I drown and I wake up. That's like a nightmare. That actually, you know what? I haven't had that nightmare in a few years, but it used to be one I used to have at least once a week. So it's probably good that I'm not having it anymore, actually. I just realized the other nightmare that I always have is that, like, I get a letter from, like, I don't know, the Department of Education saying that I didn't actually finish high school and I have to go back and do it again. And that's the worst dream ever. And then I have to tell myself when I wake up, it's like, no, you've been to university, like, you have degrees. They're not gonna, like, you have multiple degrees and I'm gonna come and, like, make you go to high school again. It's okay. It's okay. It's so bad. I hate it. It's the worst. It's so scary because, like, you know, it's those, like, initial moments where you wake up that you don't realize it was a dream.
It's the world's strongest earthquake since a magnitude 9.1 event off Japan in 2011, which triggered a tsunami that killed more than 18,000 people and crippled the Fukushima nuclear plant. Across Japan, people sought higher ground on rooftops and parks along the coast. This time, waves of up to 1.3...
Oh yeah, because that would have hit Hokkaido heaps hard, right? Hokkaido have good ramen with butter and corn in it. Sorry, I know that's not the point, but that's what I think about when I think about Hokkaido. Ramen. If I tried lucid dreaming, I can breathe underwater. You know what, Ricochet? Sometimes I can lucid dream. I've been able to do it pretty much my whole life. Like, if I realize that I'm having a dream, I can make things that I want happen. But I think it depends, like, how fearful that situation is, whether or not you can kind of commandeer your dream and make it do what you want it to do. But there have been times where I've been like, okay, this is a dream. I know I'm dreaming, you know, manifesting hot men in your dream or something like that. You can do it if you put your mind to it.
3 meters were recorded in a northern prefecture, with alerts later downgraded to advisory level.
I was very scared when I heard the news. The warnings were all over Japan, so I was frankly scared.
I heard the tsunami warning at work as my workplace is by the beach. My co-workers told me to come home because I have a small child and she was waiting at home, so I came to pick her up.
Oh, I'm thinking about Ponyo. You know when the tsunami comes on Ponyo and it hits the nursing home and all the old people are under the water, but they're alive? Ponyo, Ponyo, little fishy in the sea. Sorry, I know it's serious, but I just like Ponyo. It's cute. It's a cute movie.
In Hawaii's capital, many tourists waited it out in high-rise hotels as cars jammed streets and highways, mainly by people trying to get out of Honolulu.
We've got water, we got some snacks, so we're going to stay elevated. This is our first tsunami warning ever, so this is all new to us.
Hawaii should become independent from America. Like the native Hawaiians, they should like petition to get their island nation back, and then they can like join the rest of like the Pacific Islands, and they can start like playing rugby with us, and they can like start, you know, doing the haka, because they've got their own haka. All those countries have their own haka. They just, you know, I don't know, justice for Hawaii. I just don't think Americans should be there. Stinky, stinky.
My lifetime, maybe I can remember like 3 or 4 tsunami warnings like this. But I've always tried to be a little bit more cautious because it's better to be safe than sorry.
After a nervous wait, the worst appears to be over. However, authorities in several countries say people should stay away from beaches.
Do you remember when the American government accidentally sent out warning messages to the people in Hawaii saying that a nuclear missile was incoming? Holy shit, I would die. I would absolutely die. I would, like, imagine if you had a weak heart and you died from a heart attack because they were like, yeah, you're about to get nuked. What the actual F? How terrified would you be? And because Hawaii's so close to Asia, right? Like, that's why Pearl Harbor got attacked in World War II. When Japan wanted to attack America, they attacked Hawaii, right? Because it's, you know, relatively, you know, Okinawa, if you look at Okinawa, it's, you know, not too far from Hawaii. But yeah, God, imagine, like, what would you think it was, like North Korea, or, oh my God, how scary would that be?
With dangerous currents still expected in parts of the Pacific, including New Zealand. The magnitude 8.8 quake in remote Russia is tied for the 6th strongest ever recorded, and it took place in what's called the Ring of Fire, an
You read that Hawaiian pizza is because mainland housewives thought Hawaiian food was putting pineapple on ham. Well, yeah, they do eat a lot of pig in Hawaii. I think they cook it like very similar to like Maori hangi. So like where you cook your food like underground on like coals and you cover it up. But yeah, I think the Hawaiians had some long pig when Captain Cook went there. Captain James Cook. I think they did have, I don't know what Hawaiians call hungis, but I think but Fijians have the same thing. Yeah, it's all around the island nations, but I'm friends with a lot of Maoris because number one, they're hot, and there's a lot of them in Western Sydney. And when you're friends with them, like, if anyone even looks at you sideways, they'll jump in. Like, they'll like, are you looking at my friend? They'll be like, do you want that guy to look at you? And you say no, and they're like, stop looking at her, or I will make sure you can't look at anyone again. You're like, thank you, big Maori man, for protecting me. It's they're good friends to have. Islanders are mad friends to have because they'll always just protect you, and like they're just really nice dudes, and they just like, yeah, they're just cool dudes. I love them. I love Islanders. They're great people. Air Force accidentally dropped nuclear bomb in America by mistake, but it wasn't armed. Well, thank God it wasn't armed. Jeez.
Of seismic faults in the Pacific Ocean, where more than 80% of earthquakes happen. It's named that way because of volcanoes that surround it. Experts say the impacts of a tsunami can last for days.
This is not a surf wave, it's not a wind wave. A tsunami is the entire ocean column that is being lifted up above that high tide level there because of that extreme movement of the Earth's crust with the earthquake there. So this is a significant planetary event that we've just witnessed. And when you have a wind wave or a surf wave, you think of that at the beach and that nice gentle sound there at the coast. This isn't what this is. This is an ocean flood.
That's so scary. I already watched that. Oh, there's another PDF file in the childcare sector, but this time it's Sydney flavored. This time it's New South Wales flavored. All right, let's see what this evil poo-poo head did.
Contains content that may be confronting.
Yeah, no shit, mate.
A Sydney out-of-school hours carer and former probationary police officer has been charged over the alleged production of child abuse material involving 10 boys.
These creeps, they can't help themselves. They have to record it. They have to record it and show other sickos what they're doing. And that's how they get caught. That's the same with that freaking freak in Melbourne. Seriously, like, why are we wasting our resources on giving this guy a trial? Like, I'm pro-life, but like, you know, I will put down my cat or dog if it's sick. Like, these people are sick. Like, they can't be helped. I'm sorry. Freaking, they need to be taken to an island far away from the rest of us. Okay, just take them away. I'm sorry, but like, if you're that fucked, there's no fucking helping you, and there's no rehabilitation for you. Just go away. Sorry, I get angry about this stuff.
Federal Police today published a list of nearly 60 facilities where he's worked.
No.
The 26-year-old has been in custody since October, but his identity had been suppressed until today.
Why are they all 26? And why do they all work at multiple centres? Holy... What? God, I need to marry a rich man so I can be a stay-at-home wife and just like, you know, watch Bluey all day with my kids. That sounds awesome. I want to do that.
The details are confronting.
He was entrusted with the care of children across Sydney's northern suburbs and the CBD. But Artarmon man David James is accused of taking advantage of them.
For people that don't know Sydney, this is like a $10 million house area. This is like rich people. This is like Willoughby Council, which I believe is, at least it was, the richest LGA in Australia. It may very well still be. I don't know. But this is like Lower North Shore. This is like rich people. This is going to get a lot of things changed, because if this happened in Western Sydney, yeah, people would be disgusted. But because this is happening to really rich people's children, I think this is actually going to cause some type of change, because the stuff that happened in Melbourne also happened in like Point Cook, which is like, you know, the Werribee sort of area where it's like, you know, lower socioeconomic. But this is some of the richest people in Australia. If anything, this is going to, I think, result in some major changes, because these people have a recourse, these people have money, these people have lawyers. This is going to actually change some shit, I reckon.
The AFP will allege the man took explicit photos of 10 children
Jesus
aged between
Christ.
5 and 6
Yeah, what a
3-year
sicko.
period, 2021 to 2024.
The investigation began when
freaking-
child abuse material was detected on the dark web, and police identified who was allegedly responsible. In September, Mr. James allegedly refused police access to his electronic devices and was charged. Digital forensics cracked into them.
In all, we had to examine 104.
He's probably been at the private centers too then. Yeah, probably. But there needs to be this same strict oversight and the same strict regulations for public or private. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All kids everywhere, irrespective of their parents' income bracket, irrespective of anything, need to have safe places to go. Like, this is insane. This is absolutely... This is just the stuff we're finding out about now, but how much, like, is this just the tip of the iceberg? I think it might be. I'm absolutely horrified. Like, the type of psychological impact that this stuff has on you well into adulthood, and like, yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I have to calm down, otherwise things are going to come out of my mouth that are going to get me in trouble. Okay, let's calm down.
42,000 files on his devices, or 18.9 gigabytes. Not all those were child abuse material, but it shows the effort it took to thoroughly go through every single file.
In October, he was charged with 13 offences, including 9 counts of aggravated use of a child under 14 to make child abuse material and 2 counts of possessing child abuse material. The AFP has published a list of 58 centres where he worked. They allege the offending took place at 6 of them, and all parents, carers and operators from those centres have already been contacted.
If you have not heard from the AFP, it is because we have no evidence which has linked your family to this man's offending.
David James's identity has been suppressed under strict court orders made last year, while the victim identification process was underway. When his case was mentioned in court this morning, his lawyer wanted that to be extended due to fears for his safety.
No, people need to know, parents need to know who this guy is so they can talk to their kids, because kids might not necessarily be able to tell their parents or whatever, but they can sit down with their kids and show their kids a photo and say, hey, do you know this man? Did this man ever play with you? What game did you play? You know, talk to your child in a child appropriate way and find out, because kids don't necessarily even know that something bad has happened to them sometimes. You know, they might just think, hey, this is what happens at daycare. They might just think that until they get older and they realize, you know, what's happened to them. Like, no, these guys, sorry, they don't have the right. They don't have the right to privacy. They need to be exposed.
But Deputy Chief Magistrate Michael Antrim revoked the orders, saying there was no evidence to back up suggestions of the safety concerns. The 26-year-old was also a New South Wales probationary constable between 2021 and 2022, but failed to complete probation. His case returns to court in 3 weeks. Jamie McKinnell, ABC News, Sydney.
And you can find a full list of centres where David James worked on the ABC News website, along with support services.
I mean, at least the Victorian government had the freaking balls to identify that freaking creep that was doing all the shit down here. And that's what needs to happen. Sorry, you should have thought about your life getting ruined when you were ruining the lives of the most vulnerable, innocent people in society. Fucking, that's what you get, dickheads. And the public came forward with extremely pertinent information. Yeah, look, there's no one more gossipy than, like, parents at, you know, school pickup. Like, they'll talk to each other, they'll work it all out, they'll join all the dots, they'll solve anything faster than the police will. Like, okay, let's play the food game, and then we'll play the other food game, and then we'll play horsey game. That's how it goes. What is that? Chicken Chinese wrap in Scotland. Okay, Scotland, I don't think you've ever been anywhere near China, but that's okay. Sausage and bread. and that is in the Czech Republic. Now, they have really good bread and really good mustard and really good sausage in the Czech Republic, I'm gonna say. And this looks, I don't know. You have to guess with the one that most people would eat. Most people would want. You have to choose between the foods. I'm gonna go for the Czech food because I like Czech food. Nope, I was wrong. People went for whatever that Scottish thing is. This is in Budapest and it is, I don't know how to say that, or the burger. I think people will go for the burger. According to the Twitter polls, yeah, I think that's what it is. People vote on Twitter or something. Wimbledon. Pulled pork and beef brisket roll. I mean, the food at Wimbledon has to be good, right? The royal family go there to watch the tennis. Or a burger, a double bacon cheeseburger. Let's go for the pulled pork. I feel like Wimbledon has to have good food. Nope, everyone wanted the burger. Oh well. That hot dog looks so sad. We're definitely going for the taco. Yeah, there was no contest between that. Ooh, Cadbury's. Or loaded fries. Oh, it depends what mood you're in, right? Because sometimes you want something sweet. Sometimes you want some delicious chips. Oh God. Dairy milk donut or loaded fries. Why not both? I don't know. I would eat the loaded chips and then I would eat the donut for dessert. How about that? You would go for the donut? Okay, let's go for the donut. Nah, people wanted the chippies. Chicken curry and chips or pizza. Oh. Can I have both? The pizza doesn't have much pepperoni on it, so let's go for the curry. Yeah. Victoria sponge or a very sad hot dog? Well, at least the Victoria sponge looks edible. That looks so bad. Steak pie with gravy or fish and chips? I do like an Australian steak meat pie, but this fish and chips looks pretty good, and fish and chips are just yum. Oh, people wanted the pie. I was wrong. Chicken tandoori pie or pepperoni pizza twist? Well, that's just a squashed pizza. I'm gonna go for this. I was wrong. I stand corrected. Steak and chips in a red wine gravy or a pork sandwich? Well, I feel like people like chips. Let's go for chips. Wrong again. I suck. I suck. Well, looks like I am a loser. That's okay. All this proves is that we have better taste than everybody else. Alright. Let's play this one, and then let's play Horsey Girls. Oh, I've been streaming for a while. Well, I will only play Horsey Girls for like 40 minutes then, because I have to go to the gym and get out of bed tomorrow. So, all in all, not good. Ooh. Bread, poultry, pork fat, garlic oil, paprika, salt, pepper. Optional beef, optional game meats, optional lamb. This dish is a type of smoked sausage traditionally made with a mix of meats such as poultry, game or pork and bread. It is seasoned with garlic, paprika and other spices, giving it a distinctive flavor. Okay, this has to be like Italy or Spain or something. Typically, it is cooked by grilling or frying. It is often served with rice or potatoes. Okay, that's giving more Spain than anything else, isn't it? It borders Spain. Maybe it's Portugal? Is that not how you spell Portugal? Why won't you let me... It is Alhira from Portugal. We were close. We were pretty close. Dates, oats, flour, brown sugar, butter, baking soda, water, salt, vanilla extract. Optional lemon juice, nuts optional. This dish is a classic dessert bar featuring a sweet and sticky filling made from mashed dates, sandwiched between layers of crumbly, buttery oatmeal crust. The dates are often cooked with sugar and sometimes citrus zest to enhance their natural sweetness. The oatmeal layers provide a delightful contrast with their hearty, slightly chewy texture, making each bite harmonious, that's a word, blend of flavors and consistencies. Duk duk duk. Is that just basically a muesli bar? I don't know. I feel like this could be anywhere in the world. Is this granola? Is that a granola bar? Is that what a granola bar is? Maybe it's America. But the dates are making me think that it's... Date bars are UK. All right. Let's try. United States of your mum. Nope, you were cold. I'm gonna try America. It borders America, Canada. It was Canada. Next round. Flour, butter, eggs, sugar, vanilla extract, cornstarch, milk, chocolate, cocoa powder, cream, gelatin, apricot jam, liqueur. This dish is an elegant, multi-layered sponge cake featuring delicate layers of sponge separated by rich chocolate buttercream. The entire cake is typically covered in a smooth, dark chocolate glaze. I'm listening. Creating a glossy finish. Each layer is thin and evenly spread, showcasing the baker's precision. The cake is known for its light texture, balanced sweetness, and luxurious chocolate flavor, making it a delightful indulgence for special occasions. Well, sponge cake is British. If it was like the crepe cake, it would be Russian, like the honey crepe cake. But let's go for the United Kingdom because I just feel like sponge cake is so British. I'm sure other people have sponge cake, but I don't know. Hot. We are hot. Which way are we going? South. Southeast. Maybe it's like France or somewhere? The Netherlands? It could be the Netherlands. Let's try the Netherlands. Oh. That's... Can you do what I want you to do? It borders the Netherlands. It borders the Netherlands. Belgian chocolate, maybe? Does that border? The The name seems German. It does seem German, but they speak German in Belgium as well, because they speak like French, German, what's Flemish? That's the other one. They speak a few, right? I just think because of the chocolate. Belgium chocolate's like heaps famous, right? I feel like. If it's not, we'll try the other one. Okay, it borders the Netherlands and Belgium. Germany. All right, we weren't geniuses this time. We were just super foodies. That's okay. Can't get too used to being winners in life. Oh, that reminds me. Should check the footy score. I don't want to know, but I kind of do. No way. We got flogged. Western Bulldogs 132, GWS 44. You gotta go? All right, Delta. See ya. Have a good sleep. Should I play the horsey game? Maybe I should just go to the gym. Yeah, I think I will just go to the gym. You know what? A 2-hour stream is fine. I'll do a big stream tomorrow, right? Because everyone will be able to stay up because it's Friday. I think that's better. If I stream for like 4 or 5 hours tomorrow, I reckon. If I take breaks, if I pace myself, we can do it. All right. Well, yeah, I might go to the gym. Philly Friday. Oh, that's a good name for the show tomorrow. Philly Friday. I like it. It's nice. It's different. It's unusual. Okay, well, I'm glad I didn't watch that game because, oof, that is painful. Although my neighborhood will be happy because I live in a doggies neighborhood, so they'll be happy. So that's nice. We like that for them. We like that for them, even though I'm a loser. That's okay. We'll cop it. We'll cop it on the chin, as they say. All right. Well, it's been swell, but the swelling's gone down. See you next time. Bye.